Hello. Let's see. Day 8 on the CDT. So today was a good day, and I was actually reminiscing quite a bit. Last Thursday, today's May 5th, the Thursday, if I got that correct. And last Thursday, the 28th of April, I was riding in a shuttle on a bumpy road down to the border between Mexico and the United States to step on the trail and then have endless blisters and foot pain. But it's all been great. Let's see. So I guess a few things. After I recorded yesterday's message, I did my mileage for the day, and I noticed that I crossed a milestone. So I have hiked more than 100 miles during the trip. So yay. I think when you're hiking, when you hit those milestones like 100 or 250 or 500 or 1,000, it's kind of like a little check mark in your head of like, hey, I need to take some stock. How am I doing? How are things going? How's my pace? How's blah blah blah? And so that was fun today. I had a little bit of a slower pace because there's a lot of ascending. We ascended yesterday, but today I think we've ascended a further I think it was a few hundred feet, maybe. I mean, there was a lot of up and down. So the first 5 days from the border to Lordsburg, we were kind of bouncing between like 4,500 and 5,000 feet above sea level. And now we're at, I think I'm at 6,500 or somewhere around there. I could be a little bit higher. But the elevation's nice. We get to see a little bit more foliage. So the trees, we actually have some, and the shrubs are a little bit larger, and we get to see animals. So instead of lizards just darting everywhere, we get to see rabbits and hares and different kinds of birds. And I saw a chipmunk today, so a little bit more alive. But New Mexico is dry. They got hit with that drought last year, and it is still hitting them pretty badly. For example, I have a pretty big decision to make. I haven't done a 20-mile day. Like most people will do a 20-mile day in the first few days once they get on the trail, just to kind of test out their legs and also get to Lordsburg quicker. But I haven't. I've been trying to like monitor my miles and kind of train in the first few weeks on the trail. But tomorrow, the water sources, the first water source is only 4 miles from here, but the one after that is 22 miles. So that would be a 26-mile day to get to the following water source, which I've done a 19-mile day and a couple of 18-mile days, but to jump from averaging like 17 miles to 26 is a bit much. So I'm gonna have to figure that out tomorrow, and maybe have to load up some water, which is unfortunate. I had to do that a bit today. I think I had 4 liters for a bit, got to a water source, ate some lunch and drank some fluids, and then I had to load up about 5 liters to get to the next water source. So that includes tonight and early tomorrow. So that's the nitty gritty, just trying to figure out water sources down here. So just a little bit of information for the trail itself. I don't remember if I got into this in an earlier video, but the trail used to be pretty much you had to have a map and compass to get through the trail. And then there was an app that came through like 10-ish years ago, maybe a little bit longer. It was called Gut Hook, and they actually renamed it. It's now called Far Out. And that app actually has programmed waypoints into an app for a phone, and you can see the actual map and the waypoints and the elevation. And they've designed it in an interesting way where even though your phone is off, like it's in airplane mode, you can hit a GPS and the GPS tracker will enable, and it'll show you on the map where you are. So that's made like a huge difference in trying to navigate. Another thing I seem to remember, I want to say it was a couple years ago, I believe I read a press release or saw something where the coalition, the CDT coalition, which is the organization that is essentially in charge of the stewardship of the trail, they partnered with, I believe, is the Boy Scouts of America, and they determined they wanted to make sure that the trail had blazes from the southern to the northern terminus. Blazes mean like trail markers, and this lower portion of New Mexico is blazed really well. I was expecting to have to use either the app or map and compass quite a bit to figure out, and that was the scuttlebutt on the trail itself. But the markers for the most part have been pretty solid, and that's great. It makes navigating a bit easier, and I think that the effort was well worth it, because it'll probably open up the trail to other folks that maybe were a little bit hesitant of getting lost in the desert and not getting to a water source. The CDT coalition has also teamed up with a Trail Angel, and they have now 5 water caches that they will refill on a daily basis down here. Actually, it's between the border and Lordsburg. The water caches are no more, so that's why we're having to find water sources, which a lot of times are tanks where cattle go and get the water. So it is, the one yesterday had about 1,000 dead bees on top of it, and the water was green, had a green hue to it. So I used my water filter, and afterwards I flushed my water filter and there was like green coming out, so that was less than enjoyable. And then today's water source did not have the bees and didn't have the green hue, but there was kind of a murkiness to it. So when I back flushed my water filter, there was a little bit of a cloudiness to the water coming out. So going from water caches to natural sources, or sources that have been set up for cattle, is a bit interesting, but we'll make do. But the water caches are really nice. And so again, it's, making sure that people not only can navigate the trail, but also make sure that they get water and kind of do an introduction to the trail itself. And talking about Trail Angels, those are people that will offer help to hikers, through hikers, and they sometimes will leave what is known as trail magic. So today we had a bit of a trail magic where someone had left a couple of gallons of water between water sources, which was nice. But then, like a couple paces away, there was a cooler it had ice in it. And you probably are thinking I'm excited about the ice, but in the ice was, I think, like Mountain Dew and some Gatorade. And just having that little bit of trail magic in the middle of a hot desert, especially since you've been like climbing up and down all day on elevation, is a welcome sight. So the trail magic was wonderful. So today's shout out is to all those Trail Angels that leave trail magic, because it makes a big difference for the hikers. It's a bit windy. I don't know if you can hear it or the microphone's picking it up, but coyotes are howling right now. Yeah, you probably can't hear it, unfortunately. If you can, then great. Let's see, anything else? I have a very nice campsite this evening. I'll get up and see if I can do this without making people sick. So someone has leveled out a nice pad on top of kind of a ridge, because we're still ascending, and they've also found some big rocks, and they made a bench. And benches are, like any kind of seats out here, are wonderful, because like sitting in the dirt or like sitting on lopsided ground or whatever, it gets old after a little while, and you don't want to sit on your pack and hurt something. So the bench is an added bonus. So here, let's see if I can twist this around and give you folks just a look here at the campsite and the bench. So, I gotta step back. So there is the nice bench, and then right behind the bench is the nice flat pad for the tent. So I saw some trail maintenance as I was heading up this ridge. It was pretty obvious they were giving outlets for water, so the water wasn't flowing and digging out the trail, but it was flowing out off the trail. So I don't know if that person was up here for a few days and decided to spend 30 minutes making themselves a nice tent pad and a bench, but I appreciate it because the tent pad is right next to a tree excuse me, which shades my my tent from some wind, and I have a nice bench to sit on to make this video and eat my dinner. And not in the morning, it's gonna be great to not have to sit on the ground to get everything ready. So I think that's it for today. This is a little bit of a longer one, and I hope everyone's doing well. I think I already said this. The shout out was the Trail Angels, so thank you for that. And I'll let you folks know how the water situation goes tomorrow, and we'll talk to you soon. Hope everyone's well.